This is everything you need to know, but you didn't know who to ask. And so hopefully we will cover all of your questions, but there will be time at the end. So if you have a question, you can type it into the chat and we will make sure that we answer all of those questions for you by the end of this program. So welcome and thank you for being here.
So this is our agenda for tonight, and we're going to go over what to expect as a parent, how will kindergarten change things, what types of programs exist in our area, what are the differences between neighborhood, choice, magnet, charter, and private schools, what questions should you be asking as a parent, and what should you be thinking about when choosing the program for your kinder, and then what skills should be practicing before kinder begins at home.
So who are we presenting? So I am Sharon Collins. I am the executive director of Westgate Community School, which is a K-12 charter school in the Adams 12 district. I've been in education 26 years, and I am a current first grade mom. So I went through what you did, what you're going through just 2 years ago.
And I'm Ashley Dewar. I am the 5th through 8th grade middle school assistant principal at Westgate Community School. I have been there for 8 years and I am the current kindergarten mom. You can see her right there.
So we have our experiences will add to this, but we also have a lot of information for you just that we've gathered through the years of being educators and in a K-12 school. So why are we doing this presentation? Westgate Community School, it has a commitment to community service. And what we started seeing in our future family nights were a lot of questions from prospective kindergarten families. They had a lot of very specific questions, not only about our school, but about kindergarten in general, and what were the options available. And we thought it was a great opportunity to speak to the community about all of the wonderful school options that are available in our area. We have a commitment to school options and to sharing this information. And we know very personally that this is a big decision for families. And it's a very exciting time for you and a very stressful time. So we hope this information helps.
So where should you start? First, you should start thinking about you and your family. What does your family need? Who is your family? Where are you all at personally? And then together as a family, and what are you looking for? Sit down with your child and who is your child? What are their specific strengths, their weaknesses? Talk as a family. Different schools offer different things. And school is not for us, the educators. School is for you, the family, and for the kinder that's going into school.
And so after you sit down with your family and really talk about what kind of school are we looking for? What do we need? What do we want? What would be, if we could dream up of school, what would it look like? And what would it do for our children and for our family? Then it's time to think about sort of these logistical things. And kindergarten changes things in a family, even if it's not your first child. How does having another child in school change things? And first is time and schedules. So you really need to be asking those questions. When does school start? When does it end? When can we drop off? When does coverage start for kids? And then also before and after care. Is it widely available or is there a lottery for before and after care if that's something your family needs? So to kind of start thinking about what are our schedules and what do we need in our family. Also thinking about this work, school, life balance. So does the school have homework? Do they have clubs and activities? Again, that before and after care. How are we going to balance things in our home and what would work for our family and the balance that we need with our one child entering school or all of our kids in school? this was a surprise to me. We had a new member at our dinner table every single night last year when my son entered kindergarten. And his kindergarten teacher, Miss Matthews, became somebody who was almost alive and well at the dinner table. So Miss Matthews says, and this is what we did. And that really became something that surprised me, how much my son looked up to his teacher, wanted to be like his teacher, and to tell us everything that Miss Matthews said last year. So this is something that will also impact the car talk, all of those things. Processing new information impacts the brain in different ways at different times. And so you may see some sleep regressions or overwhelm if they're learning new information and they're trying to remember it all, and their brain is so very busy while they're sleeping. So you may hear them talking in their sleep or waking more than they used to wake. So that brain is really processing not only the information they're learning, but the new routines, the new people they're meeting, all of those things. So don't be surprised or worried if you see some changes in behavior and sleep and sort of just mood, because or even how tired they are at the beginning, because these things really impact the brain in a major way. And then also navigating all the social changes, whether they're coming from a preschool or not home, maybe a small at-home daycare. Coming into a kindergarten really changes things, and learning all the routines and how we act out at recess and what we do and what we play. Those things take time too, and they may want to talk about it with you and talk about who their friends are, or things that happen in class that are social things. So that's a big change as well. Oh, school options. Sorry, that's me. School options in our area and what this all means. So as a parent, you may be bombarded with all of these different words. I love these pictures. These are all Westgate kids in the pictures, so I love these pictures. In Adams 12 and in every single district, they have your neighborhood school and choice schools. And you can choice into any neighborhood school as well. So in Adams 12, you can check your boundary. If you don't know what your neighborhood school is, you type in your address and your elementary, middle, and high school will pop up. And so you'll know these are the schools that I belong to and my child will get accepted into. You still have to do their whole process, but that's your neighborhood school, and that's where your child will go in their boundary school. But if you say, hey, I work over here and there's an elementary school really close to my work and I'd really like for my child to go to that school, you can do something called choice. And in Adams 12, you have to fill out a choice application. We'll talk about those deadlines later. And choice in to those schools. And they have 3 rounds of the choice process. So you have neighborhood and choice schools. You also have magnet schools within Adams 12 district, any district that you're in. And the magnet schools specialize in something. And Ashley will talk about the magnet schools here in Adams 12 and how they differ from one another. We also have charter schools within Adams 12, but also within a larger district that's a state district called CSI. And we'll talk about those. Charter schools are free public schools, and they're very much individualized and differentiated. There's also homeschool options for you as families. Private schools in our area, which are application and tuition based. And then for kindergarten families, there's also kindergarten in private preschools. And we'll talk a little bit about that. And then you would be choicing in to neighborhood schools or magnet or charter schools as a first grader. So these are all different options for you as families to look into and explore.
So some of the nearest magnet schools located to us are the K-5 Studio School, and that school is one that specializes in art. Then there are two STEM schools near us. There's the K-8 STEM Launch and the K-8 STEM Lab. And then there's also the K-8 Holstrom, and that one is a gifted and talented magnet school.
Charter schools, like I said, are public schools. They are free to attend. Westgate Community School is K-12 and it's gifted education for the whole child. And our high school is an early college model where the kids in high school take college classes at Front Range Community College and they can earn up to 60 credits, their associate's degree, while they're earning their high school diploma. So that's what differentiates us at Westgate Community School. Prospect Ridge Academy is located north in the district, and that is a K-12 core knowledge school, and they have their application process as well. We have Stargate School, which is K-12 gifted education, and they're located at 144th in Washington. And New America School is our fourth charter in the district, and they are only a high school, so it may be something later, but they are an alternative high school that focuses on immigrant families and moving those students through the high school process in a sort of a smaller environment. And then other charters that are not Adams 12 but belong to CSI are the Pinnacle School, the Academy, which is located on 120th, and Global Village, which is not too far from Westgate off of Washington Street. And so those schools are other charter schools that are free public charter schools in our area.
Another option is the online and homeschooling. There are online options. You just have to go on and look and then register with the online school that fits your needs. There are also hybrid options where sometimes you go in some days of the week and other days of the week you stay home and do online. And then there's also the home-based learning. That's the homeschooling, and you need to file a letter of intent with the district, and that's got to be 14 days prior to beginning the homeschooling process. And if you do the homeschooling, there's homeschool groups and meetups. They get together, they go and they do field trips and things and get the groups together so the kids still get to see people and talk. And then there's private schools. These are tuition based, so be sure to check for financial aid opportunities. There are unique application and admission processes to get into the private schools. Um, they are not associated with the school district, and there are also private schools that are religious based, and there are independent private schools. Some of them have preschools like Hope Montessori, the East Lake Montessori, Primrose, and the Goddard School, and those ones offer the private kindergarten. And then there's also the Summit Classical and the Dawson School.
So important dates that you need to know about with all of these school options. Some of them we have, and some of them you may need to go to their websites to see what their application process are. Neighborhood schools, you would be registering through Infinite Campus as a kindergarten family. So you would just register and you're in because that's your boundary school. Magnet schools, there are application processes and they give you a seat offer. And once you accept that offer, you would enroll through Infinite Campus. So those magnet schools are selective and application based. Charter schools are very much the same way. We are application, seat offer, accept the offer, and then enroll, same as the magnet schools. And every charter school has different deadlines. Westgate's, our lottery first lottery results went out, you can still apply because all charter schools and magnet schools, these application schools, continue to send out seat offers throughout the summer. So as people move or decide to go to another school, seats open, and we continue to offer seats throughout the summer. So check all of the charter school websites for their details on what you need to do to get on their wait list or to get a seat offer at their school. Private schools, as Ashley said, are application based. They to offer seats, you accept the offer and enroll with them. It will not be through Infinite Campus. All of the charter schools in Adams 12 has the same enrollment process as the neighborhood schools, but private schools will have their own separate enrollment process. You can choice in, this is something we talked about, into another neighborhood school outside of your boundary, and you need to apply for something called Adams 12 Choice. And their first round, the choice deadline was January 31st. They have second round coming up. The deadline is March 30th. And the last round opens on April 16th and continues through the beginning of next year. So if you're just going to be moving into the district later, maybe August, September, that last round may be what works for you. So again, through the choice process, they continue to offer those seats out, those open seats, as they do those choice rounds. And you'll be hearing directly from Adams 12 about those. What questions should I be asking the schools? So you as parents, when you're going through, do they allow tours in the school? And I'll kind of go off script here. Do they have prospective parent nights, either virtually or in person? Can you tour? But really, when you get somebody on the phone or you're talking to them, ask them, what programs do you offer that serve all children? That what does everybody get at this school? Not just the special one-offs, but what will every child get at your school? What's special about your school? And what does every student, you know, what is every student's experience? Are there field trips at every grade? Those kinds of things. You want to kind of get at what makes the school unique, so you can see from that first slide of talking with your family about what do we need and what are we looking for, does it fit the picture of what you had hoped for your child and for your family? How do academics help all children grow? How are you measuring growth? How will I know as a parent my child is growing? And how do you meet the individual needs of learners? And not just if your child needs, special education or those kinds of things, but each child is unique and each child has their own way of learning and doing things. So how do you meet those individual needs? And how do they do that for all kids? What does school and family partnership look and feel like? Can I come in to volunteer, or is the school closed? And you as a family think, do we want to be in the school volunteering? Would we rather not? So these are things that you need to be thinking about, but what does partnership look like in terms of communication from teachers? Are there weekly newsletters? Are there monthly newsletters? What will teachers contact me if there's some work that we should be doing at home? What does that look like, and how does it feel for you as a parent and for your child? How will your school support the social and emotional growth of children, especially in kindergarten, and I would say also high school? Social is everything. Who is near me? What's happening? Am I talking to my friend? Can we play outside? How do teachers teach children to be community members, to recognize one another and say hello and greet? All of those things should be deliberately taught in a school, and they should be able to answer that for you. How will you respond if school cannot answer in a tangible way? Um, Schools, and we're all part of this work, they love the buzzwords, and social emotional learning, SEL, is one of the things they love to say, like, oh, we have a SEL curriculum. Well, how often is that taught? Is it is there a time during the day where social emotional learning is taught, or is it supposed to be embedded all day every day? um, so really kind of drilling down is okay. Remember, you're the consumer here, and you're looking for the school that will best fit the needs of your child and your family. So you can say, what's the name of that curriculum, or what does it look like? Can I find it on your website? Again, who's teaching it? Who created it? When will it be done every day? Or if it's not every day, is it every week? You have the right to ask that. Um, Westgate Community School is a school about whole child education. They should be able to say what that means. If they say, we're whole child learning, you could say, what does whole child mean to you? And we would say here at Westgate, whole child education means mind, body, community. And everybody at Westgate can tell you all the things we do to engage and interact with the mind, body. At Westgate, kindergartners have an hour of recess every single day, 15 minutes and a half an hour before lunch. Every student gets physical education and health. So whole child should be pretty easy to describe, even if it's not mind, body, community the way it is here. They should be able to tell you about it. Homework. How much homework does my child have? Um, Westgate is a no homework school unless your child doesn't do something during the day that they need to get done for the next day. So sometimes my son in first grade has some writing work to do because he tries to avoid it during class. So he does a little bit, but he might not get it all done. So then the teacher will email me and say, there's an orange folder. Can you just finish the 5 sentences that Tommy's writing tonight? And so, but other schools will say, we have at least, in kindergarten, you can expect a half an hour of homework a night. And so how does that fit into your family? So they should be able to be clear about homework. And then STEM, they love to say, we're a STEM school, we have STEM programming. What does that mean? How are they, hitting on science, technology, and math, and so engineering and math. So where does that come? What does it look like? How is it embedded into every class, or is it a single class they take? They should be able to answer these questions for you. So don't be afraid to ask. You're allowed to ask these questions of the people who will be educating your child over the next 13 years or 6 years, or 9 years if it's a K-8. So please don't feel you can't ask questions.
So it's February. We've got about 6 months until the fall and kindergarten coming up. So, what skills should you be practicing at home to get your little ones all ready? One of the things is zipping their jacket, zipping up the jacket and doing the buttons so they can get out into recess and be warm. And then the teachers, who have a good like 13 of them, can get them all out and get them playing warmly on the playground. Car line skills. I don't know about you, but I was used to just getting my little one and sticking her in the car seat and buckling it all up myself. We definitely have to practice getting in and out of the car, doing the buckle, opening and closing the door. I didn't realize the door was that heavy until she tried to open it and couldn't. So you got to practice those things and start getting used to them now. Also, sitting on the floor for carpet time. They obviously won't be able to sit for up to 10 minutes right away, but doing some activities at home where you're sitting on the floor, even for just a minute at first, reading, looking at books, playing with toys, and then getting really excited with them when they can sit there for that long, and then slowly increasing the time. That way they can make it up to 10 minutes. That way they can do the carpet time and they can all sit there. Following 3-step directions is really important. One of the great things that kindergarten teachers do is like 1-step directions. They get there in the morning and they go cubby, bin, and carpet. That way the kids know first they go to their cubby, then they go to their bin and put all their things away, and then they go to the carpet and they're ready to go for the day. Um, Next is safe hands and bodies, knowing how to be safe with their hands and their bodies and keeping them to themselves, and how to use them appropriately, especially when they're excited and they get overstimulated with all the other kids around that they're just learning and meeting. And then opening containers like lunchtime and water bottles. So, like applesauce containers that you have to peel back, or the squeezy pouches you got to twist the lids off of, having them practice that now. Even like peeling a little cutie orange so they can bring those, and opening their water bottles, filling them, and then being able to put it back on. I don't know about you, but the straws in ours just seem to fall out every time. So, we got to practice sticking the straw back in that tiny little hole and then twisting it back on. Also, there's no more midday naps. So, you got to start weaning them off of their naps. My daughter definitely still falls asleep in the car at least 4 out of 5 days a week. As soon as we're out of the parking lot, her little head is snoring. It's very tiring with all the new skills that they're learning, all the new people they're learning, all their social skills that they're practicing. And one of those things that they need to practice now is how to ask for help. When there are a whole bunch of them in the room and they're excited and they're learning and they need help with something, they need to learn how to get the attention of the adult in the room and raise their hand, how to ask for help, how to be specific about what kind of help they need, whether it is help with zipping their jacket or with writing on their paper or grabbing their supplies. That way they can ask for help appropriately and get what they need.
Thank you, Ashley. So many things. So we want to thank you for being here. We're about at a half an hour now, 26 minutes, but we want to answer questions, take any thoughts from you. Again, please type them into the chat. And Holly, you can start with any of the questions that you were seeing.
Well, we do have somebody who raised their hand. If he could turn his mic on,
Yeah,
he
go
could
ahead.
ask the question. I don't think I can do it. No.
No?
No, nobody has any questions in the
No
chat.
questions. Well, please feel free, even if it's after this, if you have questions, you can email me. You can take a look at our website. This will be posted. Oh, what is the general expectation? What?
Can you see it?
There it is. What is the general expectation for kids who can't sit still? It depends on the school, right? So let me stop presenting. So at Westgate, movement is part of our mind-body community. So we expect that kids need to move, and some of that is built in. So there may be, and this is a great question for the school. If my little one needs to move their body, where is that available? So do they have alternative seating, wobbly stools? Can they sit on the floor? Can they stand? Is there an area in the room where they can walk or pace? Some kids need to walk while they're thinking about things, so they may have to sit and listen to some instruction. But I know my son, when he came, he would prefer to sit at the table or in his chair sometimes rather than on the couch, or on the carpet, but he had to ask for what he needed. So that was that, saying to the teacher, I think better at my table than I do on the carpet. And there was always an invite to the carpet, but he knew if he needed to go to the desk or stand up by his desk, that was a safe place for him to go, and he could stand there and still listen to and see all of the instruction. So the general expectation will be different at every school, and some schools will expect they sit on the carpet when they're told to sit on the carpet, and then they move when the class moves. And other schools will say, hey, we have sort of a pacing area, or we have all of this alternative seating where they can wobble, or they can kneel, they don't have to sit crisscross applesauce. So, and that's something you're going to hear a lot too, is crisscross applesauce, if you don't hear it already from preschool. So those are things that, that I would ask the school. But kindergarten teachers are magicians, and they know 5-year-old children, and they know what is developmentally appropriate for them. So they're going to start the year too with shorter carpet sessions, and then get up and wiggle out and then sit down again. And they notice too, if the kids are wiggly, they should get up and move a bit so that the kids then can concentrate again. The body and mind are so connected. If you need to get the wiggles out, they should be getting the wiggles out. So ask the school what their expectation is, but there should be flexibility, especially at kindergarten, for how much time they're expected to sit still. I don't know if any kindergartner is really still, ever.
We actually just had somebody come in, but
Yes.
how many kids in the classroom at Westgate in our kindergarten?
In kindergarten, it's typically around 18. That's sort of a sweet spot we find for a teacher to have with students. When it gets up to 20, 25, or 25, 30, that's a lot of small people to manage who need a lot of attention. So we have 18. Different schools have different numbers. They may have a paraprofessional in the classroom to help if it's a larger number. So I would ask that. If the number is 25, 30, ask what the support is in the classroom, because that is a lot for one adult to manage.
All right, and another person wants to know if any of the Adams 12 charters are in the process of creating a homeschool kind of bridge program.
I know we looked into it for our high school. We had some interest, but I haven't seen that in any charters. I will, look into that at, there's a League of Charter Schools. And so that may be a place that you could look. None of the Adams 12, Prospect Ridge, Stargate, and Westgate do not have this homeschool bridge that you're talking about. Because Adams 12 has such, the homeschool paperwork that you fill out, it really identifies you as a homeschooler. Rochelle is our registrar. Do you know of any programs? Not in Adams 12, but do you know of any?
I haven't heard of any charter schools that work with homeschool programs. It's usually just those separate homeschool program groups and things like that that help support that, to do the social piece and then just to do additional testing and that sort of thing. But I mean, it's worth checking out to see what kind of other private schools might have some different mixed options, or the Colorado League of Charter Schools is a great resource too.
Yep.
Okay,
I saw
and go ahead.
Yeah, at what point would my child be tested either for moving up or down a learning level? And I don't know if that's like within the grade. Westgate does needs-based learning. So sometimes a kindergartner may be in first grade literacy or first grade math or second grade math if they need to and they move, and we communicate that to parents. If they're moving up or down a grade, absolutely parents should be contacted before any change occurs or testing. And if they're going to be doing radical acceleration, like grade level acceleration, there should be communication around that, and you should know what testing they're using to make those decisions.
Somebody wants to know if we have support for the teachers in the kinder classroom.
Because our ratio is 1 to 18, we don't have a para in every classroom. We do have a instructional paraprofessional that supports in classrooms. And then also we have, special education teachers who might co-teach. We have, occupational therapists or speech and language, just like every public school has. And so those people come in and out of the classroom to support the students who need those services. And then it's the teacher leading the classroom, typically of all 18 kids, general education.
That's all we have right now. We have somebody who wants to ask a question, but I cannot turn their mic on.
Okay. It may have been in the initial settings. Yeah. What's the actual school hours? Is their transportation? For Westgate, it's 8 to 3, and we don't have bus. Adams 12 buses don't work for us or any other of the charter schools. So none of the charter schools has bus service to them, but there are carpools and things like that that parents get set up for either in their neighborhood or their kids' friends. So that's what we see. And so we have car line in the morning and car line after school. Oh, sorry, 8 to 3:30. Thank you, Cassie.
We also have our bell schedule posted on our website. A lot of other schools, you'll look for their bell schedule, and that will tell you all the period times as well as their overall school calendar, because you'll want to check to see what their start date is, what the end date is, and what all those breaks are too. Like here at Westgate, we start earlier in August and get out the last week of May. So yeah, you'll want to check all of those kind of specifics too, especially if you have different kids in different schools.
And at Westgate, you can start to drop off at 7:45. There's teachers outside, but we do have before and after care before school starts at 6, right? 6:30. 6:30 in the morning and then goes to 6 p.m. at night. So our Champions program begins at 6:30. So you can drop off as early as that. And then Champions is here after school till 6 p.m. and you can pick up till 6. Just a minute. Thank you, Rochelle. After school care costs, I have no idea. You can get it through the website. My son does it sometimes, but it's like a monthly bill, so I'm not sure. And sometimes he stays. They have full day for when we have professional development days, and it's so those days are more expensive. But on our website, you can hit Champions and all the information is there. Under Whole Child, it says before and after care, and it'll give you all the pricing. All right, well, thank you, and thank you for spending your evening with us. We appreciate you, and really, I always urge parents, don't stop looking until you find that just right school for your child, because when you find that school, magic happens. And so take your time during this process, research it, and really find what's working.
We did get a question. Someone wants to know
lunch.
if they work near the school.
I don't know how many, and usually typically if you come for lunch and want to visit, we have some tables in the lobby, and that's where parents and students sit and share their private lunch. Otherwise, if you bring like McDonald's or something, you'll have 30 kids asking you for your fries. So, but yes, so we do have parents come and we just invite the student to come down and be with their parent at the lobby tables that we have.
We also do really love parent volunteers though.
Yes.
And so you'll also see them working in classrooms and helping with small group instruction and in the community spaces. We do require our volunteers to get an additional background check just for an added layer of security. Not all schools do that, so that's another question to kind of ask how they play that. But yeah, we do love, love, love parent volunteers. And for our families, we'll send all that out at the beginning of next school year.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. Find that perfect school for your child and family, and we appreciate you so much. Thank you for being with us. If you have any questions, you can email the school. You can find all of our emails. Thank you.